Scott on Security. I'm Scott Beck, co-star of the Amazon Prime documentary Cybercrime, two-time best-selling author and CEO of BeckTech, a cybersecurity firm and IT support company helping small and medium-sized businesses try to stay safe in this always-on, always-connected world. Well, listen, they've started early. Every year, we folks in North America enjoy the tax season process, right? You got to fill out your forms, gather all your information, submit it to the government, and pay your taxes. Well, the bad guys know that you have to do this too, and it makes for a prime time for cybercrime. And they've started early this year. We're actually starting to see the first scams going out. Last week, a few days ago, there was an email phishing email. And if you don't know what a phishing email is, that's basically the criminals will do up an email. They'll try to make it look official or otherwise try to get you to click a link or respond to them or take some sort of action. It's called a phishing email because they're throwing out the line and trying to reel people in. All right, so a new phishing email went out and it said it was from ADP. ADP happens to be one of the largest payroll companies, outsourced payroll companies that a lot of companies will use. Well, this was a scam from them relating to taxes and asking for the W-2s in the States. In Canada, you get a T4 that says how much you made from your company. W-2, same thing that happens in the U.S. So this one was targeted more for the American market. But what will happen with this thing will morph out. And we might as well start getting ready because it's going to get worse and worse as they target. Now, they can target individual peoples looking for information, all the way right up to threatening phone calls. We've seen that happen last year where people will be calling you saying that they're from the Canada Revenue Agency or the IRS, and they're demanding that you make a payment, that you've been owe them taxes or maybe you were overpaid. And the interesting thing in these things, of course, they'll say they're threatening that they're going to send the sheriff over to your place and confiscate stuff, and they want payments by a prepaid credit card or a gift card or Bitcoin. Governments will never ask for that. Okay, that just doesn't happen. So if you get one of those phone calls and they're demanding that stuff, just hang up on them. Now you got to be watching for your email, especially if you happen to work in the payroll department of a company. Okay. The boss could end up sending you an email saying, hey, we got to gather all our W-2s or T4s and get them ready. So can you send me a list of the staff and their social insurance or social security numbers, whether depending which side of the border you're on. Call them. Don't just give that stuff out. You shouldn't be sending that kind of information through unsecured email anyways. But if the boss sends you an email asking for this stuff, get on the phone, give them a call. If the boss suddenly sent you an email saying send $10,000 by wire transfer, should you do that? No. You're going to want to confirm to make sure it actually came from the boss. That's another kind of scam that's happening. So be on the watch out for this. It's a little interesting that the tax season scams have started so early. Typically, we don't see these usually for like another month or two, but looks like the early bird's trying to get the worm this year when it comes to cybercrime and the cyber criminals and what they're trying to do to attack. One other big development that happened late last week, well, probably happened a little bit earlier, but it became known late last week of a new scam or a new hack for Office 365 mailboxes. And why this is so important is if you fall for this scam, the hackers are going to get persistent access to your mailbox. Doesn't matter if you change your password. Doesn't matter if you use two-factor authentication. If you fall for this hack, the bad guys are going to have direct access into your mailbox until they decide not to have it there or until you close the mailbox and open up a new one. So how does this scam play out? Well, again, it's a phishing email. They're going to send you an email trying to get you to click to go to a link. Now, here's the sad part of the scam. It takes you to the actual Microsoft Office 365 login page. It's legit. It's a real site. And they want you to enter your username and password. Now, what they've done, though, they've added a little bit of code to the address. So when you're looking at the top of your web browser, it's going to have office.com/login/ blah, 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 blah. And it'll have a whole bunch of letters, numbers, and things going on. Some of that is code. So when you enter your username and password, the next thing that pops up is a window saying, hey, would you like to install this application for access into Office 365? Again, normally that's a very legitimate thing. If you're using an online calendar or Office 365 backup software, it's going to need permissions to get into your mailbox so it can do the job that it needs to do. But if you're not trying to install a piece of software or a program or a feature, and you go to log in Office 365 and you get a prompt saying, hey, would you like this program to have permission? No, click no. This is a scam. This could be a very bad thing. Because as I said, this will give the bad guys access into your mailbox and it never goes away. Doesn't matter if you change your password. As I said, doesn't matter if you use two-factor authentication. You've basically given permission for an application the hackers have written to always have permission to get into your mailbox. So the lesson of that scam is when you go to log in Office 365 and you enter your username and password, hopefully you've turned on two-factor authentication when you do that. And the next screen prompts up saying, would you like this software or would you like this piece of software to have access to your Office 365 mailbox? And you're not purposely trying to install something? No. Say no. Keep the bad guys out of your mailbox.